All right. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Michael and Rob here at Lake Michigan Angling. Thank you for joining us for our weekly fishing report live stream here. Hopefully, you all have been doing well. Hopefully, you guys have been able to get out and do some fishing. We got a lot to talk about today as normal. We're going to cover what's new here at the shop, what's came in, what we have to share with you as far as gear and tackle. And then we're also going to obviously give you the fishing report. We've got a lot to share with that. And then we're going to end the live talking about some of our go-to spoons for these early spring cohos and stuff like that. So that's kind of the agenda for this live stream. Before we get into all of that, let us know how we're coming through. Thumbs up. You're hearing us and seeing us just fine. And if you've been out there fishing yourself, how's it been? Welcome. Nick, good morning. Dave checking in from Grand Rapids, Michigan. John Bowen from Kansas, good morning. Russell, always good to see you here. Ali, good morning. Trek, good morning. Above and below, good morning. Let's see. Dave said, waiting for all the ice to melt so I can fish South Haven north to Grand Haven, Michigan. Thanks for all the tips you guys give. Hope to visit Tackle Shop soon. And we'd love to meet you, Dave. Anytime you guys are in the area, or even for those of our fishing friends on the Michigan side, or you're down in Indiana, honestly, it's worth a trip to experience our fishing in this area, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin area, at least once. I'd say that's true for our guys to check out the Michigan side too. It really, I think when you do it, it definitely adds to your knowledge base because you're fishing these different areas. You're kind of learning what the locals in the area do. There are like little nuances. I think in general it's all the same, but there are certainly like nuances and how they're approaching, maybe some of the colors they're using. I think that's always kind of cool to learn that, and then just network. You meet other anglers in that area and you network.
And you find little tips and tricks that'll work here, and no one else is doing it here.
Yep. And if you're in the area, come by the shop. We'd love to meet you guys. Good morning to you all. Hello from Racine. What's up, Scott? Above and below. Went out last week. 1 hour to get 1 man limit. Never got my third rod out the back. Went out of Portage, Indiana. Sounds about right. Yeah. Yep. Awesome job. We'll talk about that. Let's see. Careful out there today. Tomorrow, strong current and waves. Yep. That's going to be, we'll talk about that here in our report as well. There's a lot to contend with currently. All right. So, Rob, let's talk about what came in that we have here at the shop as far as lures and products.
Yeah, so new product for us here. These are great for shore fishing from the piers. Anytime you're fishing around the harbor, you'll catch browns and steelhead and cohos. We've got the Arctic Fisherman. So nice, cool spinner. They cast well. Got the rubber skirts like the old Oslos, so another option for shore fishermen here that work out great. Variety of colors. We've got a lot more than just 3 colors. They come in 2 sizes, 1/4 ounce and 5/16 ounce. You've got some different glows and chartreuses, and you got the Wonder Bread right here. So can't go wrong with that. They're a reasonably priced spinner and great for fish. Actually, a great option for the cohos right now. Yeah. So that's why we got them here.
Or browns or steelhead.
Absolutely.
That's like right now. That thing is.
Spinners have been good lately.
Yeah, so. I've been seeing some videos. Big boy in them. They got spinners throwing around there, catching fish. Steelhead are doing well, so that's a good option.
Yep, and so while we're talking about spinners, we did get restocked with some Flying Seas. Another great option when you're fishing from shore because they do cast really well. Come in 5/8 to 7/8 ounce. So we've got that. And as long as we're on the harbor or the topic of the shore fishing or boat fishing, really, we did get some new colors of the killer fish here. This is just 2 of them, the gold lemonade and the chrome veggie. We got the regular veggie back, we got the gold and orange back, and a few other brand new colors. So if you need those, we've got them listed online, or stop in the shop and pick them up. We did get restocked on ninja boards, on the baby ninja boards.
Great for this time of year, or you're walleye fishing, just pulling a coho fly or pulling a crank on that thing. I've been fishing with it the end of last year and then beginning our first couple trips out this year, and they run really well.
Yep, and another one of my favorites this time of year, or even the late fall, is the Mother of Pearl Bomber. So can't go wrong with that, especially for big browns and steelhead. They really love these things. So another thing everybody's been waiting for, Mr. Chromes are back. They just got in here about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. A little bit of the reason why the delay. Rob had to get them up on the site, so they're available online right now.
Yeah, they're not on the pegs yet, but I did get the website inventoried, so you can order them right now. We've got the spoons and the flashers, and I know a few guys are waiting for some orders that were. I was out of stock on a couple, so those will get shipped out on Monday. But yeah, we're fully loaded on Mr. Chrome right now.
Yep. So we've got that, and I guess since we know that they're going to wrap it, can we talk about what we have coming from them? So now's a good time. We're really excited. Coming here soon. We thought it might have been in this order. Doesn't look like it's here, but I did talk to Mason, confirm that it's already sent out, so it's on its way. Probably by this time next week, we're going to have our own custom spoons, LMA custom spoons, in conjunction with Mr. Chrome, and really excited about them. They're two colors. We're calling them Dead Toad and what was the other one?
Bloody Toad.
Bloody Toad.
Yep.
So just picture this. Think of like the bad toad body, and the bloody toad is the red head, almost like a bloody nose. So think of a bloody nose and bad toad had a baby. This is that. And dead toad is, think of like what's the blackhead one with the body?
Dead toad.
No. Not pox. What's the
bad toad?
Well, it's the bad toad body with the black head.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this other spoon, the one that's got the pink head, that they did the black version of it last year.
Oh, the Doty K.
The Doty K.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. It's kind of like the black head from the Doty K had a baby with the bad toad. So really excited about that. Well, we'll be getting those very, very soon, and we'll have those out. There'll be limited run on those, and we're looking forward to getting those out there to you guys. Also, let me see. Any comments, any thoughts here real quick? Jason said Mr. Chrome will be sold out by Monday. Get them quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's how fast that stuff sells, so I wouldn't be surprised if my pegs are already empty by Monday.
Good morning from Minnesota. Jerry, welcome, man. Been doing good on Browns. No steelheads yet, Lex. They've been banging the steelhead out of the road. We'll talk about that here in a second. All right. Cool. So that's just a quick little update. Everything, of course, is available on the website. It's linked. It's a pinned comment in the live stream, LakeMichiganAngler.com. You can go snatch up any of this stuff or stop by, come see us this weekend or during the week. All right. Let's get into the fishing. First things first, we got to talk about is the weather's been tough. We've had a very tough week of weather. The winds have been pretty brutal most of the days. However, if you were able to get out in and around that, guys are catching fish. There's limits being caught of coho. Hell, there's limits of perch. This guy's banging out coho and perch limits down south. So, Rob, what do we got for up this way?
For up this way, so the few guys that have gotten out trolling have caught some fish. We just had a kayaker in here a little while ago. He's been doing well on cohos down off of Waukegan. I've heard of a few boats north of there, Kenosha and Racine catching some fish as well. I did hear of a couple limits. It's just been hard to get out there because it's been super windy. So those small windows where it was fishable, guys were able to catch some fish. And unusual stuff. The gold spoons this time of year for our area always good. The crankbaits like the killer fish and the thin fish and all the other body baits were doing good. A little bit on dodgers and flies, so a little everything. Shore fishing's been full swing. Kenosha Harbor's been good. Using the spinners, using spawn sacks, tube jigs, the same stuff we talk about every week. It's all been working. Just a matter of being there at the right time. So nice brown trout coming out of Kenosha. There were some days they were getting some pretty good steelhead in there. They're getting pretty good steelhead off the mouth of the creek, north of the harbor, off the beach there. The rivers themselves are prime right now. It's really good timing. You should be at the peak of the steelhead run. It's the 22nd of March. This should be the time to hit the rivers in our area. So, and we just happened to have all that rain a couple days ago. So that spiked the rivers. I didn't check the root flow this morning, but pike was at 50 cubic feet per second. It's just about perfect. Root should be perfect because the last I checked, and it might have gone up a little bit after I checked a few days ago, but it was at like 350, and I don't think it had totally peaked at that point. But that means it should have dropped down into the 200s. And again, I didn't check it this morning, but that should be prime river levels for steelhead right now. So I'd be hitting Quarry Park and just down from there. It should be really good.
I think of all the species right now, I think the steelhead have probably been the most consistent in the last maybe 2 weeks now. It's been pretty consistent. like Rob said, spawn sacks, spinner's been doing really good for guys as well. They've been throwing them around the deeper holes for them and then plucking them out of there. I know the fishing's been good up in the Milwaukee River too. I saw some videos and photos from up that way. So if you want to get into steelhead, and there's some beautiful looking steelhead they've been pulling out.
Now is the time.
Yeah, now's the time.
Right now is the peak of the run. Once you get into April, there'll still be some fish. By the middle of April, then it really thins out. So
yeah, if I had to do like a tier list of what to focus on, if you want to kind of for the better odds, I think you go steelheads, browns, and then coho, because this coho up this area is still trickling in. Now the further south you go, I think you could probably like change that around because there'll be a little bit more coho around and such like that.
Yeah, and there should be plenty of steelhead going up like Trail Creek. I just haven't talked to anybody doing that lately.
Yeah.
But all those Indiana Creek should be loaded with steelhead. But I'm not in tune with the conditions on those right now.
Yeah, and I think most of those guys on there are focused on the coho. Mm-hmm. I think they really are down there. Down in the southern part, they're getting their coho limits out in front of Portage, Michigan City, East Chicago. And then the perch are doing really well off in the deeper water for those folks that fish that area. So been seeing tons of stuff from guys pulling in 3-man coho limits and 3-man perch, and the photos look amazing. Mm-hmm. So that's the south end's time to shine, because once that part of the season's over, it gets tough. Gets real tough for them having to go 8 miles out to get to deeper water for fish. Mm-hmm. But you do have options. So if you are in a small boat, if you're in a kayak, this is a great time to jump around. This is normally how I start my seasons, jumping around to go after and meet those fish where they're at and take care of those conditions. Speaking of conditions, it was in the news the other day. You got to be careful out there. So there was a boat that capsized, and unfortunately one individual lost their life there. Pay attention to these wind conditions. I saw a question in the chat from John, said, what website app do you use for lake conditions and winds? There's quite a few different options out there. I like Windy, and it's and I want to be clear, this is not an end all be all. It's not an end all be all app. None of these apps are end all be all. It's not like you can just keep one of them and then that's the only thing you need. And
they all get their data from the same sources for the most part. So there's not going to be huge differences between them.
Yeah.
It's not like this app has their own weather.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of good ones. So I use Fish Weather, and I also use AccuWeather, and I kind of just base,
It's almost like I almost kind of do like a average of what I see. So if I go to one and I see what it's kind of predicting, I'll go to the other one. If they're in close alignment, it gives me more sense of security. If I see like they're widely off, one shows winds coming out of, and I've seen this a lot. One app will show winds out of northeast, other one will show winds out of southwest. And I'm like, this is off. Like, what's going on here? That's where I'm like, okay, this is a little bit more weird, and I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about my where I'm going and how far I'm fishing out of. I think it's best to use a couple different apps. You can also use the National Weather Service as well. And you just got to kind of look and study and see what they all are showing. If there's an alignment, I think that just helps to give you some confidence that this should pan out the way it's predicting. If you see a lot of deviation across them, then I'm going to be a little bit more hesitant. I'm going to go to the ramp and make the call at the water. If I do go out, I might not go as far as I would normally go because I want to be able to get back in case stuff happens. And the truth is, guys, it happened to me. Was it last season when John Anderson helped me out?
Yeah.
Last season, I got
2 seasons ago.
Two seasons ago, yeah. I got caught in something about I was maybe less than a quarter mile off of Kenosha coming in because they had predicted like some kind of a storm, like storms later in the day. But this is like hours out from when something rolled in. And it was called. They have a name for it. I can't remember what it's called when it's unpredictable. It's just a thing that just happens immediately, and it just happened to do it when I was coming into Kenosha. So I was in like 4 to 6 footers, water splashing all over me. Thankfully, it helped that I had experience in those kinds of conditions, and so staying calm, got on the radio, notified Coast Guard of like, I'm here, I'm okay right now, but like in case something happens, this is my location, and we have a great fishing community. Some of the charters, rest in peace, John Anderson, who passed away last season. He was coming in from a boat trip and saw me there and kind of just shadowed me in to make sure I was good. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. I don't want to go too long-winded on that, but safety is important. And these little coho, any of these fish aren't worth it, so be careful out there. All right, let's catch up on some of your questions and comments before we get into, we're going to talk about some of our favorite spoons for these early season coho here. Let's see here. John W. said, good morning. Just saw a few caught out of Michigan City on floating shrimp. Definitely seems on and off. Yeah, floating shrimp can definitely work. Cooked shrimp is what most people prefer and recommend. And yeah, there can definitely be days when the shrimp thing is on, and some days where it's not. Captain Dominic says fishing has been hot in Milwaukee. I've seen that. Yep, inland the walleye bite rivers have been great too. A lot of options right now in the spring. You've got walleye, you've got crappie, you've got the lakefront for all the salmon and trout we're talking about. Kyle K says Salt Creek and the East Arm have steelhead in them, but as of yesterday, they're both blown out from the weather. Yep, sounds about right. Thank you for sharing that, Kyle. Lex said all of my browns have been out of Milwaukee, and the wind has made fishing tough. Yes, it has. Very tough week for fishing with the winds. Very, very tough. Alex said marine forecasts suck. None of them are right. You got to think about it in this way. What makes Lake Michigan fishing so challenging is that, unlike saltwater, where a lot of it's regulated by tides, we don't have that, and a lot of the lake behavior is predicated on the winds. And because you think about that vast area of water, and winds are coming from different directions off of the lake, depending on what side of the lake you're on. If you're on the east side, the west side, north, it pushes all of that water. It's just a big, giant wash tub, if you think about it that way. All right. Let's see what else here. Crystal Hansen said, Thin Fins, New Buffalo on fire Tuesday. Yep. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see what else we got here. Sean P said, LMA, the reason why the wind is different in various apps is due to different models. Yeah, that is true. There are different models, correct. Use WRF models for more than 48 hours out, and HRR for anything within 48 for a current time. Yeah, that's a great point, Sean. That actually slipped my mind. Yeah, the models dictate what it shows you within a certain time span. So that's a great point. Thank you. Big Bowl guys can break waves for you on the way in. Even just having someone near is safer. Very true. John B said, thanks for what you guys do. I've been up on charters 5 times, looking to bring my center console up. Looking forward to meeting you both. Sounds good, man.
Yep.
And that's a smart way to do it. I don't think that gets talked about enough, which is if you want to learn this kind of fishing, never hurts to book a charter. And when you do it, explain to them like, hey, I'm specifically booking because I want to actually learn. A lot of them, if they know that you want to do more of a learning charter, it's a completely different experience. They'll change it around.
Yeah.
They may let lines out and teach you.
Yeah, they might be excited to actually teach you rather than be stuck with a group of guys just pounding beers and breaking all their tackle. So.
Yeah, and a lot of these charters want to actually teach, and I think they enjoy being able to I think there's a less pressure on we got to get our limit. It's more about the quality experience and you learning something. And once you get that information, you can bring that back to your fishing and it helps improve you. So it's like a win-win. You support these guys that are out here doing it and pick their brains at the same time. Let's see here. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Finley. Sean P said y'all should do a collab with Harbor Brewing Company, beer and fish fest. You familiar with that?
Harbor Brewing Company? They're the ones right at the marina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea, actually. We should see about the brawl. Okay. All right, guys. Let's get into our last topic for today's live. Let's talk about spoons for these early spring coho here. Now, generally, we've talked about in prior lives that when we're starting in the super cold water, water temps are just breaking into the low 40s right now, but cranks are the way to go. 9 times out of 10, lines are out. They're going to be filled with a bunch of cranks, but it never hurts to diversify in that spread to keep them honest, because you just don't know.
Sometimes they've seen a lot of cranks. Sometimes when the water just clears up a bit, it gets a little too clear, and then the rattle on the cranks is a bit much for the fish. They want a little more subtle presentation. I'm always going to run spoons right away because they're also going to be more likely to catch some brown trout. Yeah. So if you're in areas where there are brown trout,
or you got Lakers around, like in the southern end, there's a lot of Lakers around too.
So I always get especially for me fishing Kenosha and Racine, you can't go wrong with gold and orange spoons early in the year. Something a little smaller, but I'll always have something like that out because it'll catch anything. Mm-hmm. And it'll also catch some cohos. So
yeah, it's a great. So in light of that, we pulled off some of the stuff that we have here. Just some. This is not the end all be all, but these are just some that we know work. This is what we use. And so one big thing generally is we like downsizing on these spoons a little bit more. Right? These coho this early are really small. Kind of want to go, get a little bit of a smaller of a profile. So when we look at these things, first we've got some of the walleye size moonshines here as an option. These little guys. Typically, for me, I'm running this off of a short lead core, a 2 or 3 color. In fact, the kayak angler that was in here earlier has been beating them up pretty good on his 3 color. And what I noticed last time I was out was a lot of these fish were surprisingly sitting lower in the middle of the water column. And normally they're up high, but when I was down out in Chicago, they were down 15 feet or so, even close to 20. And my suspicion as to why they were in that depth right now this early was I think the water color was a little bit better down in that depth than it was higher. When I was out that day, the water was stirred up, a little silty, and I think maybe there's a layer of water down there that was a little bit clearer, and I think that's where they were sitting at. So these little guys are an option, the little moonshine walleye size. We've got also the minis in the Mr. Chromes. Great looking one right here, super sweet. Another option here as well. And again, these are some of the smaller profiles. We're also going into the Super Slims. I love Super Slims this time of year from Dreamweaver. A double orange crush cannot beat this. This is actually one of my, this color double crush is usually the first one out for me in the season. Just because it's caught fish year over year in the spring, always. So this is another great option here as well. And then we have, another one for Mr. Chrome here was the Paradise Pineapple.
And that's in this, we have that in the smaller size.
Yeah, the small size. Yeah, this is the standard one I just grabbed out the box. But they had the small one too. This guy smoked for me last spring off of a 3 color. Did really well. So, and then don't forget about Warrior. Their flutter spoons, fantastic option. Early spring, with this very thin blank, it gives you a lot of leeway in your trolling speed. So if you are trolling cranks, you're trying to vary your speeds. You can go a little fast, you can go a little slow. This guy's still gonna perform well in the thin blank. This is the Steelhead Candy. This is my favorite in their flutter series for specifically this time of year for these coho in the early spring.
It's actually a really good lake trout spoon. Yeah. The Steelhead Candy catches a lot of lake trout.
Yeah. So those are just some of the options we wanted to kind of share with you guys in terms of colors and how we approach it in terms of like sizing and stuff like that. Especially, again, early right now. I think once we kind of get in more of like the spring part of it, when those alewives start showing up and we start getting those bigger alewives, might start to change. Guys will start running mag size stuff because they're trying to match the hatch with those big spawning mature alewives. So keep that in mind. You kind of want to keep them keep the fish honest there when you have your spread out. Any questions, comments, thoughts? I'm going to go through the chat right now. Let's see here. Richard F. said, any good spots to have a 1968 Starcraft brought back to life? Oh, I'm too lazy to buff back to life. I'm too lazy to buff back to life. I don't know about that, Richard. Paul Lynn, Copper Confusion, great early season spoon for browns and cohos.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good spoon all year, to be honest with you, especially the UV one I really like. And I've caught browns and cohos on that all summer. When you get like upwellings near shore, I've caught some really big browns on it in June and July. That's a great spoon. I
think it's been kind of forgotten about.
Last couple of years we haven't been hearing about it as much.
Barely hear people talking about it.
It still works though.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. All right, Finley said years ago the Rapala J9 Orange and Gold was a kill. Oh, I still got that. Yeah, yep. The J9. Yeah, that is still in my arsenal.
Caught my first kayak fish ever on that.
For early coho and lake trout, has anyone tried them on Lake Michigan? Oh yeah, no, I fished the J9. I've got my orange with gold belly in my little Coho box.
Yeah.
And I'll usually put that on like a 2-color, maybe a 3-color, just to help it get down a little bit more. That's how I fish that one.
Yep.
It's great. It's great. Jason said, "Great spoon, Paradise Pineapple." It is. It really performed well. And specifically this one, I know I talked about this color for the early spring because it did really well. But Mason, the owner of Mr. Chrome, has said that this has been a staple for summertime steelhead when the guys are fishing in the summer. So, it's something that you can check out to run out there on like a long line, 200 or 300 copper in the summer to check out that. Let's see here. Rob S. I troll the J9 all the time in Michigan City for Coho and Steelhead. Yep.
That is classic lure.
Yep. Good morning to you all. Captain Dominic, spoon thickness is a detail to consider. You want to have the thin spoons and thick spoons. Thin ones are slightly better at slower speeds. Thicker spoons are better as you start to go faster. Yes, it is. And it also plays a part into your spread. If you're pulling certain things that require you to go fast, then you're going to want to have stuff that can troll fast with it so that it's... Like, for example, if you're burning 2.7 or something like that, and you got flashers, it's fine. But, like, Dodgers, they might wash out. They might not get the right action.
Sometimes that works, though. I mean, we routinely wipe out our...
Like, on paper, it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah,
it's weird.
We'll fish 3.2, 3.3 with our stubbies and just pound them. I mean, some days that's the way they want it.
Just a whole mess in the water.
Yeah, it's just whipping
flapping around all over the place. Yep. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Anything you want to ask us? Now's the time to get that in there. Everything we've talked about, stuff we've shown you here, is available on our website. It's pinned in the comments, or just go to lakemichiganangler.com. Real Ford Tech said, "What's the pier fishing like in Waukegan?"
Well, you've got 2 piers in Waukegan. You've got Government Pier and Johnson Pier, which is the North Pier. If you want to get there early in the morning, usually you have to fish Government Pier. There's a gate that's locked that kind of block you from getting to Johnson Pier real early in the morning. Now, if that's changed, it could have changed. I don't know. So maybe someone else can chime in on that. But the last time I was down there, they were real early in the morning. Johnson Pier to get locked. But those are the 2 main piers. Most people fish to the outside of them for the cohos, and you'll see some people fishing towards the inside of the harbor. But now's the place that the whole Government Pier will be lined with fishermen right now. There's a bunch of power liners out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep in mind, people are power lining, so that makes it a little bit more difficult if you can do casting, because guys got their lines out there, so you got to be very aware of like where people's stuff is at. You don't want to have that pier beef.
Yeah.
You don't wanna...
But there's a lot of fish down there. That's going to be where you're probably going to have the best chance of catching a bunch of cohos this early in the season for our area here.
John Bowen said, "Any success using bomber longs?"
Bomber longs are like one of my favorite lures for browns and steelhead. I mean, old school, and they were really good this past fall. I haven't been out lately to try it again, but I've been catching fish on this particular one.
Is that a custom one?
No, this one's not custom.
Okay, just a Wonder Bread.
Yeah, they call it Mother of Pearl, but it's a Wonder Bread as far as we're concerned. But that's one of my all-time favorite lures for browns and steelhead. In the harbors, out of the harbors, casting, trolling, it catches fish.
Renee said, "Are they seeing any cohos showing up around Michigan City?" Yeah, there are coho down, just all in Indiana right now.
That's where the best fishing is right now.
Yeah,
really.
From East Chicago to Michigan City for sure. They're catching them. Let's see here. Dave said, "Do you use bigger hook sizes on your body baits?" So
yes and no.
Yeah.
Like on that bomber, I'm leaving those. Those are size 4s on there. I don't want to mess it up too much. I'll leave that. But anything I'm using for kings, like when we use the reef runners and thunder sticks and the flicker shad, I always go up 1 size on those baits for kings.
For kings, yeah. And the only other thing I would say, anytime I'm running a bait that has like 3 hooks, I pull the first one off. So it's just the back and the middle. That's something I do. Just otherwise, for me, it's too many hooks around there, and I just hate that mess. And they normally strike it on that middle or back end anyway, so it's just something I do. Great questions, by the way. Next week, real quick. Next week, hopefully, we'll have the new customs to share with you. Also, we'll be making our formal Big Pond Brawl announcement with our sponsors. We're super excited about that.
Great sponsors.
We
this
got
year.
big time.
They all came through big.
Big.
A lot of money out there.
A lot of money. So for those of you that have participated in the Big Pond Brawl or haven't but are curious, next week's live we're going to talk about that, announce the numbers, and we'll start getting things going for that. So be on the lookout for that live next week. How early should I get to the pier at Waukegan Harbor? Well, listen, the guys that are power lining and all that are getting in there before the sun's even up just to get a spot. It's very competitive right now. So, I don't know.
Or get there late after they all leave.
Yeah. So, it's just tough, man. This time of year, the power liners are out pretty thick. All right. Any further thoughts, comments? Feel free to let us know. We're going to wind things down here, guys. Had a great time with you as always. There's a good documentary on Amazon about the Great Lakes, the fish thief.
Yeah.
All about the sea lamprey. I did see something about that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, I watched it. It was pretty cool.
Was it? Finley said, sometimes I found it's best to just snip the stick bait hook points, as removing them can alter the action and the balance. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I've seen that. Actually, especially on the bombers. That would be one where I'd keep, if you don't like, just snip it, because it does throw it out of balance.
Huh. Okay.
Those and just old school floating repels are another one that you don't want to mess with that too much.
Jason said, any word on the commercial laker fishing in Wisconsin? I don't know anything about it.
I haven't heard anything in the last week or two.
All right, William says he's new to brown and steelhead fishing here. Is it important to cure your eggs when trying to target them?
Well, in our area, like southeast Wisconsin and northeast Illinois here, where we have a lot of brown trout, the brown trout themselves definitely prefer an uncured egg. Like uncured brown trout eggs, they call it Kenosha Gold for a reason. Those are the best. Unfortunately, uncured brown trout eggs don't really last very long if you're not going through a lot of them. So you either have to keep them frozen or cure them. So what I like to do, I don't like freezing my eggs too much if I don't have to. I'll just use pickling salt and maybe some krill powder in my brown trout eggs. Now, steelhead, on the other hand, they're a little less picky than the brown trout, so they'll definitely go after some cured eggs, but they'll also hit the uncured eggs. They definitely don't mind a little bit of cure in those. So you can, if you're just targeting steelhead, definitely don't be afraid to cure your eggs. Kings, when it comes to kings, they want a heavily cured egg for the most part. So each fish has their own preference, but in our area here, uncured brown trout eggs are the best.
And we do have some still, right?
Very little. We just somebody just came and wiped us out. So.
Oh wow.
There's not much left.
Okay. All right. Brian said walleye fishing on the Wolf is heating up. Sean said inland trout openers in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Oh wow, already, huh? Will we have Rosies for that?
Yeah, we'll have Rosies.
We'll have Rosie Reds for that. All right. I think that's all we got for you guys for today. I want to hold you guys up there. We do know it looks pretty decent out there. It looks like it calmed down quite a bit. So maybe an opportunity for some of you guys to hit the pier heads or the rivers, or take your boat or kayak out perhaps and get some fishing in. Let us know how it goes for you guys. We'll be here till 4 o'clock today. If you need anything, feel free to stop by. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week for our live. We will also have some videos go up. We had a podcast go up with Kelly Morrison from Gold Star Silver Hordes, a fantastic podcast.
Check that one
if
out.
you have not watched it, it's right on the channel. He goes through like the history of Dodgers and plugs. He's been in the game for 40 years, so as a lure maker. So it's really, really a great kind of history lesson, if you will, on these lures that catches a ton of fish. That's out. We've got a ultimate guide to Dodgers that Rob and I filmed, and I'm gonna actually try and get that out maybe today after we're done here, because it's almost done. But that'll be coming out. We've got a few more videos we're working on, a couple more podcasts in the can. We've got Fishhawk podcast,
Fishhawk and Dreamweaver.
Yep. That we recorded earlier this week. So we got like 2 more. I think those are the last 2 for the season.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get around to filming too many more of those at this point.
So we got 2 more podcast episodes, and we're starting to slowly roll out like actual, more like fishing video stuff. We're working on that. We're gonna try and shoot a small boat rigging video. For those of you that are getting a small boat or have a small boat, I'm trying to figure out how to outfit it for salmon fishing. Gonna team up with somebody to show how they thought out the process for putting the rails and how they do all the stuff to give people an idea. So looking to get that out there, and yeah, a lot of videos to come out now that the season's underway. So thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate the support. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.